Welcome riding buddies. This week we're going to have a look at the Beta EVO 300 4-stroke trials bike. I'm not much of a trials rider. Actually, I've hardly ridden trials at all in my life, and I don't know the good difference between a good trials bike and a bad trials bike. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to get Jared Bowman to come in, and he's going to do... Ding. No. Look, yeah, you're not doing the evaluation today. No, not your turn today. No, look, Jared's going to do the evaluation and the ride. But I'll tell you what, how about you did such a good job of doing the interviews on the gas. How about we let you do the interview with Jared at the end, and you can have a ride on it during the day. You can play on it during the day, and we'll go from there. You don't get too excited. Settle down. So a little bit of change. What we're going to do, Ding's going to have a ride as well, but Jared's still doing the evaluation of the bike. But Ding is going to do the interviews at the end with Jared to see what he thought of it. We'll see how the day goes.
Yeah, so as I usually ride a 300 2-stroke, the power seems more explosive and more uncontrolled, whereas with the 4-stroke 300, it seems more grippy and not as explosive, but more direct.
Yeah,
it's a good engine. It's a very smooth engine, and the power is awesome.
Ding, 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 bah.
So the factory bike I usually ride has an amazing amount of adjustment with the suspension. This doesn't have quite the same, being just a standard racing bike. Having said that, the suspension works well enough that it doesn't need all that adjustment, especially for your lower grade riders up to about B grade. This would be perfect, and with a slight tweaking for an A grader, it would be more than enough. So as an A-grade rider, I reckon I would do just fine on this bike. There's a few little things I'd change, like stiffen up the rear spring just with your preload setting and move the handlebars and the levers around.
Yeah.
Exactly, but other than that, I think this is A-grade ready.
Oh!
Yeah, the brakes are good. I think with modern bikes nowadays, brakes are usually better than they need to be. So between the factory and the racing, you still got a more than sufficient braking. Exactly, and it still stoppies then. So overall, I reckon the biggest thing I notice is the traction difference. On the traction, exactly, on a traction on a two-stroke, it's much more slippery and recovery, where this thing seems to just hook up everywhere. So having the mud map and the dry map on this, on most bikes, there's not too much of a difference. There's a slight timing difference and that's about it. But on the four-stroke, I don't know what it is, but the difference is night and day between the two. There's places you can't get up in dry that you could easily get up in the wet mode. It's really impressive to see the difference. So if this was my bike, I think the only things I would change are, like I said before, is the preload and the shocks, maybe a slightly heavier spring in the front, and change the bar and levers. Other than that, I don't think there's really anything that needs to be done to this bike. Yeah, you're right, Ding. It is a bit odd that the fuel tank is in the frame, but I guess it makes sense. It's wasted space that could be, and being a bigger diameter, it's be a lot stronger too, I would imagine. It's one of the only aluminium frame trials bike. A lot of them are chromoly, so I think that helps a lot. Yeah, you're right, Ding. I was surprised with the clutch feel of this. Being a four-stroke and being used to mainly two-stroke, especially factory two-stroke, I actually expected the clutch to be quite rough, but it was beautiful. It was exactly like my factory clutch, and it didn't feel any different at all.
Well, I suppose 6 months riding trials, he's picked up a few little things along the way, hasn't he? Okay, so the 2021 Beta EVO 300 4-stroke. Bit of a walk around here. With your maintenance side, it has been pointed out to me by the trials guys, the filler neck for the coolant is just straight underneath the triple clamps. To me, that's would be normal, but apparently on trials bikes, this is very important because most trials bikes, you've got to dismantle half the bike to be able to check the coolant levels and to fill them. So that is a big, big thing. Forks on this thing have been working brilliantly. They are a coated fork on these straight off from the standard model. This is not the factory model. This is the base model machine. Also, too, you come down to your map switch, which Jared really liked the map switch on this. Very simple, basic, and worked exceptionally well. It did make a big difference to the bike every time you went from mud to dry conditions. It made a massive difference. Down into the engine, of course, the 297cc 4-stroke engine. It looks like the Kickstarter has fallen off a wise at 80, but it does work quite well. We did not need anything more than this Kickstarter for the whole day. The servicing of it, the oil filter, the oil drain, everything is nice and easy to get to. The air filter, in typical trials bike scenario, is under that little panel, which is where the seat's supposed to be on a normal bike. Come down, the rear shock, we've been checking out the rear shock. It does have rebound dampening adjustment at the top of the rear shock, so there is a little bit of adjustment. Of course, you've got preload adjustment as well, but on the racing ones, things do change dramatically there. Everything else on the bike is pretty much normal run-of-the-mill trials orientated. So a couple of really cool bits on this. Even with this being the standard model, you get carbon fiber exhaust coverings, protectors. You've got stainless steel exhaust system on it, which I've been told by the trials guys, this is really, really cool. You've got Mikuni for carburation, but you go over the whole machine, everything is high quality. Even considering this is not the racing model, it is all top-notch, high quality, full hydraulic clutching. You've got everything you'd ever want on there. The headlight may not work all that great if you're trying to ride down the highway, but hey, it's not designed to do that. Overall, you've got an absolutely awesome finished, high quality piece of equipment. Okay, so just to show that the map switch actually does do a lot, we're going to have a play with it. So listen to the engine and see what happens when we change the map switch. So I've dropped its revs considerably. And it picks up once again. So the map switch actually does do a lot on this bike. So just on the top of the bike there, yeah, your stop switch over there, it's normal stop switch. On the racing version, you do get the lanyard stop switch, but this being the normal person's bike, you can buy the optional stop switch that comes on the racing one and stick it on there. Very good quality switch it is as well. The fuel cap, like pretty much all trials bikes, it's not the biggest fuel cap. It's a normal screw-in cap, but you can get to it quite easily. It's not too hard. And there's that map switch there as well, which is very, very useful. And Jared was saying that he would use the map switch during sections because you can change it on the fly as well. Another real cool thing with the standard model, you do get compression and rebound dampening, one on each side of the forks. Also too, a really cool thing is the bar clamps. They have a linkage at the front, and they just have the single bolt at the back, so saves undoing 2 lots of bolts. You just undo 1 lot. So after a good morning's riding on the 2021 Beta EVO 300 4-stroke, I've just given it a wash down and a quick once over. The only thing I can find with it is the chains come loose, which is to be expected. The tubeless rear wheel, not even a loose spoke in there, so everything is Mickey Mouse. Considering it's still in its running period, it's holding up so good. But there's so many people that got involved with this video. The Western Districts Trials Club, a big thank you to you guys. If you want to have a go at trials and see what it's all about, go along to the Western Districts Trials Club in Queensland and have a yarn to them. So also too, a big thank you of course to Toowoomba Motorcycles and Power Equipment for lending me the bike for the weekend. They trusted me with it, luckily. But a big thank you to you guys who watched this video. Please subscribe to my channel down here and check out the rest of my videos as well. Maybe this one down here might be better for you. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.